All right, Coach, I guess y'all been scrimmaging for a long time. How much did you sense the urge to finally play somebody else?
Oh yeah, that's always the thing, right? You just want to see another color in the other dugout. We're at the point where you really can't do anything right in a scrimmage. It's either, the hitters either have success or the pitchers have success. It's hard to have a total team success moment in those spots. So we're ready.
Obviously, there's not much perfection in the opening series, but what's the one thing that you really want to see from this team to start out?
I think we're not playing against an opponent, and I hope we play 56 games where we're not worried about the opponent. I think that's the key for this team this year, is that they just need to be themselves. And we've talked a lot about their growth doesn't end on February 8th. Like, it's just the beginning. They just have to be the best version of themselves they can be on February 8th and hope that that's enough. But I think the game is them playing against themselves all year. That's just the type of personnel that we have.
Are y'all relatively healthy coming in?
I think we're in good shape. Yeah.
With this many seniors on the roster, do you kind of expect to be a little bit further ahead for the opening series than you typically are in years?
I think this is the most experienced team I've ever coached. I think it's one of those spots where it's almost like you roll the balls out and let them practice. They just know the system. They know the standard. They're very experienced. I did think, when we started, maybe the very first practice in January, for a minute I was like, man, this is like mid-March defense. It's just sharp. They make throws. They make plays. They communicate. So I think, especially when you look at that side of it, where the defensive things take time, they're already there. So yeah, I agree with you.
Has that changed at all, maybe your approach into the season of how you coach them? Like you mentioned, kind of roll the balls out there. Is it more of a player-led approach, you feel like, this season?
I hope we're always a player-led approach, but I think you're right, this year more than ever, it is that way. I think the really cool thing about this team is the freshmen are so talented, but they're getting to be out there and play with a Taylor Pleasance, a Sierra Briggs. They're getting to learn from them every day, and I think that experience is what's going to be so valuable for their future.
Talk about continuity for the program. Imagine that's a big talking point when you go into recruiting and going into these freshmen's homes to recruit them. How much have you seen that just kind of play out before the season? You'll learn a lot during the season, but obviously just kind of this preseason.
Yeah, I think it's cool to see that these seniors have had opportunities their entire career. I think Sierra Briggs has played virtually every game her entire career. And Taylor, she's battled a few injuries here and there, but for the most part, those type of players have had opportunities right from the beginning, and they have stayed true to us, and we've stayed true to them. And I think you're going to see that experience as we take the field this year.
How many freshmen can fans kind of expect to see on opening weekend?
I hope you get to see a little bit of all of them. I think they're really talented. I don't know exactly what spaces we'll get them in. I think that's a conversation for our staff tomorrow is, where can we use them? Where can we find them time? They need time. They're really special. I can't say it enough. So I want to make sure that we're getting them prepared for if we do need them down the road, right? In case of injury, they'd be able to step right in. And then also so that next year we hit the ground running just like this one.
How important is this juncture of the season to kind of build that depth? You mentioned you want to be able to get your girls some reps, but also with the freshmen as well.
It is a big deal. I think this time of year is your opportunity to see what you're made of. So I think you do have to give some people some chances. You do have to play some different lineups and looks, which is tough to do the way this lineup falls and the way these seniors are so talented. But I do think this is your chance because as you get into conference play and you get down the road, I think you want to be a little more set, a little more stable, let your players know what to expect a little bit more. So I do think we need to find out about some of them this weekend.
After Sid, can you give some perspective of who can see action in circle this week for you?
I hope you'll see them all. That's the plan. I hope you'll see all of them at some point. I think, Kelly is obviously and Raylan are really have done some great things in scrimmages this spring. So I think you'll see a ton of them. I think Kelly is a great complement to Sid. I think Raylan stands on her own too, and is able to give us a different look. And she's honestly throwing as well as I've seen her throw. So, but I think you'll see all of them.